This is narration number 81, The Thief and the Beggar. On a Q train, headed for Queens, a man sits across from me, likely homeless, but definitely down on his luck. He starts awake when the conductor, unaware of the decibels poured from the mic overhead, announces the Astoria destination. Bleary-eyed and still dreaming, he looks around him, and when his eyes land on me, I lock eyes with him and smile all the way through me, pleading somewhere in me not to be invisible, just as this man begs to be seen. And in that moment, as his eyes instantly become clear and sparkling, we find truth and a common ground that need no words or fumbling explanation. He reaches timidly into his pocket, never taking his eyes off mine, as though I am some doe in a forest clearing he doesn't want to spook. He pulls from his pocket an unopened roll of Mentos, peppermint, my favorite. He breaks his gaze from mine for only a moment to admire his treat, as though he'd spent the entire day begging for scraps of other folks' happiness. When he looks up again, he loses my eyes for a second behind the lock of hair in front of them, and when I brush the hair from my eyes, he breathes out deep, relieved his moment is not gone. I am relieved as well. You see, as much as this man is a beggar, I am a thief. I've been called a thief of moments, maybe taking blissful notice of little passings, otherwise invisible to the more scrupulous man, and I would have enjoyed my time with him without his notice. But what joy for once not to have to thieve a moment, but to have it freely given. He leans slowly and carefully across the car, never taking his eyes off mine, me still the wild thing, him still the timid child wanting to touch my fur. I take the candy, pop it into my mouth, and smile. And he nearly sits straight and proud, obviously pleased for not having scared me running. He takes the sweet, pops it onto his tongue, sits back, and breathes out deep, drunk on this moment. We continue our conversation for a few moments before his eyes start lulling again, and slowly he drifts away. You see, this man can't know what he's pulling from me. Tonight, it's Summers at my grandfolks, sneaking out the pasture to ride down to the general store that exchanged every penny and dime I found on the road for bubblegum and pixie sticks until 1985. Every nickel I snuck from my granddad's pocket when he was snoozing in the armchair in the afternoons, my grandma gabbing on the phone next to the icebox or standing at the kitchen window hollering at me, for Pete's sake, get out that crabapple tree before you bust your head. Every 50-cent piece Papa flicked at me at the cafe so that I could buy a roll of peppermint Mentos, winking, maybe because he loved me. More likely it was to get me up from underfoot for a hot second while he and Mimi and Miss Wanda and the pastor finished their hushed discussions of the more clandestine political dealings of Roland, Arkansas. Population 238. I finger the deep divot in my left shin bone, a legacy of a fall from the pump house roof that chewed out a quarter-sized chunk of my tibia. You know, I never told anybody about that. I just cleaned myself up at the spigot and insisted on wearing jeans for a week in the custard-thick heat, just to hide my indiscretions. 7 years old, and I'm already practicing to be invisible. I study the contours of this man's face as I studied my granddad's when he was snoozing, like memorizing a roadmap back to a childhood I'm afraid I've forgotten, or maybe never had. You see, I am only a thief of moments, and this man merely a beggar of joy. Two unlucky, invisible criminals on a Q train headed nowhere fast. But tonight, we are royalty, sucking on the sweetness of lost history, savoring moments that can only be known to a thief and a beggar. I rise slowly to exit the train at Astoria Boulevard, stopping to steal one last moment in a kiss on top of his head. Because you see, tonight, we aren't invisible. Tonight, we are seen. Tonight, this man matters, and so do I.